Hello there. I'm going to move this out of camera because I think it's ugly. We are going to be combining this Padme Amidala, her iconic nightgown from Revenge of the Sith, and I'm doing a little Zara Larsson mashup. So we're going to make this look. I've actually done this look before. I did like a short or a reel, and I wanted to break it down and do a more technique-based video. By the way, if you're new, my name is Crystal Kyber, just like the Kyber crystals in Star Wars, and I make Star Wars videos and I do my makeup at the same time. So usually my videos are very lore-based. They're more Star Wars focused, but today's video is going to be more technique and makeup focused. I'm going to walk you through how to do this look. We're going to talk about technique, we're going to talk about products, and I think it'll be fun. I'm using the NYX micro pencil. The eyebrows really shape your face. I think it's super important to get your eyebrows down as fast as possible. Whether that's you're drawing them in or you're feathering them or whatever technique you want to do, I always get my eyebrows on first. Another reason why I like to get my brows on first is because I always like to do my eye makeup before I do my complexion makeup. Right now I'm using the e.l.f. Cosmetics Camouflage. So usually what I do with this is I put it here. I like to take a flat brush. I'm going to shape out or carve the eyebrow. I usually like to kind of stamp it on, and then I'm just going to bring the concealer all the way on my eyelid, basically priming our eyelid for eyeshadow. My brows are like never even. Sisters, not twins. I'm going to take the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD Concealer in white. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand here. Same brush. I'm just going to put this on the back half of my brow as like a brow highlight. This is a Real Technique brush. I'm just going to soften the edge of where we did the white into our concealer. I'm going to use the Mandalorian palette by ColourPop Cosmetics, and I'm going to use Mythosaur. I use it in almost all of my makeup. Small fluffy brush. So I'm going to put this right on my brow bone here, and I'm going to kind of follow the socket shape. For myself, I like to wing out my shadow. I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Star Visionary palette. I just depotted some of my eyeshadows here. And I'm gonna use an eyeshadow shade that is in a similar value to Mythosaur, which would be kind of in the mix of these two shades right here. And we're gonna put it right where we put Mythosaur. Even though it's the same tone, like it's not darker or lighter than Mythosaur, it does give the eyeshadow more depth and more dimension. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the LA Girl White Concealer. I use that same brush that we used on the brows, and I'm going to put that right on my inner corner here and drag it towards the center of my eye, bringing that highlight of the white like a little bit past the inner corner of my eye, so it's like a bigger shape. Next, we're gonna do eyeliner. I prefer a liquid liner. Right now I really like the Sephora brand eyeliner. It's so good and it doesn't smell weird. You know how sometimes like eyeliners smell weird? Basically, I want the eyeliner to taper on two sides. I need it to taper here to the halfway point of my eye, and I need it to taper here. Honestly, we're gonna put big lashes on, so it's gonna hide most of the mistake here. I always wear multiple mascaras. The reason why I like to wear multiple mascara is I feel like I get the most control over how I want my lashes to look, whether it's a different wand or brush or like a different kind of formula. So if you take anything away from this video, it's to go buy a second mascara. For lashes, you have an issue with your lashes coming off on the inner corner or moving throughout the day. My trick for that is to take more lash glue. This is the Duo latex-free lash glue, and I like to put it directly on my eyelid. Put it right in the inner corner here. I don't do it over the whole lid unless I'm like going to Disneyland and I need my lashes to be extra secure. So what this does is you're putting glue on glue, and it just gives the lash glue a little bit of like extra support. Another tip I have for lashes is always trim your lashes. You never want to take lashes straight out of the package and put them on. I never want my lash to go all the way to the end of my eye, because if you do that, the lash itself, because the lash curls like this, it's gonna end up dragging your eye down this kind of look, which we don't want, unless that is what you want. But generally, we want our makeup to be up and out. And then another trick that I do with my lashes is I don't ever put my eyelashes on straight like this. Turn them so they're upside down like this. I don't put them on like this. I put them on like this. See, like this instead of like this. I always like to start at my inner corner and then place them there. And then I don't know if you can tell, but the lash does not go all the way to my outer corner. And then that's what is going to give my eye the lift. I'm going to go in with a primer. Primers make all the difference in my opinion. I am using the Refi Clear Face Primer, Blur and Hydrate. I don't wear foundation, I just wear a lot of concealer. Right now I am using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I don't like to put a lot of product near my eyes just because I am getting a little bit older and I feel like makeup does go into like my wrinkles or like my fine lines. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in with the white concealer. And I'm just gonna put it right here. A small brush, this is a small fluffy brush. It's the same one that we used on our eyes. I'm gonna start blending out the concealer. I always like to leave this part, the center of my face, last. I want it to dry down as much as possible. Now on a day today, I don't wear this much concealer or this much product. If you guys wanna see more of like a day-to-day makeup, let me know. We need to set these under eyes as soon as possible. I am using the Patrick Ta, it's dirty, I'm sorry. Cream foundation and finishing powder duo. Like this foundation is actually too light for me, so I don't use it, but I love the powder. I have found that I like the powder puff more. I'm gonna dab the extra here so it's not too much. And then I'm gonna press in here. I don't normally do any foundation or concealer on my nose. I personally like a more natural look, and when you put foundation on your nose it really looks like you have a lot of makeup on, but I will blend all of my powders onto my nose. So I did not set my whole face. I just set my under eyes because that is the part that is going to crease the most. This is the Laguna bronzer by NARS. I'm using a flat brush. This brush is broken, by the way. And I'm just gonna blend it all around the perimeter of my face. I also like to bring my bronzer into my ear and behind my ear, down my jawline and onto my neck. We are gonna use a cream blush. This is the Made by Mitchell Cream Curve Case. I'm gonna use this bright pink, this bright ass pink. I'm gonna put it directly onto the back of my hand here because I want to warm up the product. I personally like smaller blush brushes. Priming the brush, I'm going to really saturate the brush with this bright pink color. Keep it pretty high up on my face. I'm gonna take the leftover into my hairline, onto the temples, just a little tiny bit. And then now we're gonna wear a second blush. I'm gonna go in with the Melt Cosmetics blush in Honey Thief, and this is a lighter, more peachy, warm tone blush. This is actually the blush that I wear every day, and I'm just gonna keep it right around the edges. I think it gives it like a really nice transition, and then again we're just gonna take it into our hairline here. I'm gonna take the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is a finishing powder. I'm gonna use a big fluffy brush, and again I'm gonna saturate, really saturate the brush, and then I'm gonna tap out the extra. I want to do as thin layers as I possibly can when it comes to the complexion. And then I'm just gonna start dabbing it from the center of my face out. I find that this really just helps soften everything that we did, the really bright white, the pinks, and give everything like a nice layer on top of it, like a filter. Do lips really quick. Okay, so we put a ton of powder on. The very last thing I'm gonna do is go back in with this setting spray. This is just gonna help everything stay in place throughout the day. And also it's gonna help the makeup not melt into the skin, but just look a little bit more, or I guess less powdery. I'm gonna use the Color Curve case from Made by Mitchell. This is the electric color case, I believe. And I'm gonna mix in this blue color, possibly some of this like lilac, just to lighten it a little bit. I want to warm it up on the back of my hand. Get it into the brush in the same way that we kind of primed for our blush. We're going to really saturate this. Have it be the most saturated in the middle of the face and then work our way out. Okay, I get nervous to do this. And I'm going to bring it into the brow bone a tiny, tiny bit. Bring it down the nose a teeny, tiny bit. I'm gonna go in with the Color Me Cool by Morphe, and I'm gonna use this shade right here. So we're setting the cream at the same time that we're reinforcing the blue. I want to use the Star Wars palette from ColourPop Cosmetics. Do a little bit of this Rebel Princess color because it has like a little bit of a blue shift in it. Maybe I'll mix them. And I'm gonna keep this to the center of the face. Zara Larsson, she usually wears like a bunch of rhinestones on her face, which I love. But in our inspiration photo of Padme, she is wearing like pearl detailing on her dress. I got a bunch of pearls. I'm gonna start with the smallest on the center of my face, and then as it radiates out, I'm gonna get slightly bigger. I'm just gonna start in the center of my face here, and I'm just gonna put a bunch of glue. This is the finished makeup look. I hope this gives you Padme Zara Larsson vibes. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos. I know it's a little bit different than our Star Wars-y talks. Have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you. Bye.